Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Megan Western. Some Georgia prisoners aren't being given their constitutional rights. In late October, the Justice Department released details from their investigation into Georgia prisons. They claimed the state violated the prisoners' constitutional rights by failing to protect them from harm.
Georgia's prison system can do better, and most importantly, under the Constitution, it must do better. And we look forward to continuing this important work.
The U.S. Attorney for the Middle District of Georgia, Peter Leary, called the system, quote, out of control. He said the problems include inadequate staffing and supervision, poor security, gang activity, and the constant flow of contraband. Now, nearly 50,000 people are incarcerated in Georgia prisons, the nation's fourth largest inmate population. And now, after years of reports of violence, understaffing, and failing infrastructure, major changes on the way for Georgia prison system. Just days before the General Assembly is set to meet, Governor Kemp unveiled a proposal that includes pay raises, facility repairs, and plans for a new prison. Our Carmen Brown spoke to a family who says the recommendations are a start to reshaping the state's correction system.
A plea for justice and change.
Maybe get more prisons, get more staff, get better doctors, more qualified doctors around the clock.
The Ables family are left with unanswered questions after they say their brother Charles "Chuck" Ables died while suffering a medical emergency at Coastal State Prison.
If he was that ill, why didn't they get somebody else in there to help him?
They say he was booked in 2021 and just had 5 months left of his sentence before dying in October of 2024. The same month, the Department of Justice reported that Georgia state prison system is, quote, horrific with, quote, inhumane conditions.
Every time before I hung up, we'd say a little prayer and I tell him, please, Chuck, just take care of yourself and be safe.
Tuesday, Georgia Governor Kemp announced plans to improve state facilities after Guidehouse, a consulting firm, released their assessment of prisons across the state. If passed, the historic investment would put a total of $600 million on the table over 2 fiscal years. It would be one of the biggest spending contributions toward public safety since Kemp took office.
My biggest problem is that they don't treat them like they're people when they're in jail.
Outlined in the list of recommendations are measures to boost staff, upgrade facilities, and install new safety enhancements. Specific plans include recruiting 330 new correctional officers, raising worker salaries to improve retention, and updating training modules, a step forward which the Ables say could better manage inmate violence.
Whenever he went into that dorm, he never slept on a bottom bunk. He literally had to stand up against a wall to sleep because of the inmates saying, no, you're not getting this bottom bunk.
Or he had to pay for it.
Yeah, he had to pay. I was sending like $50 to $100 a week just so that I could pay for him a bed.
The list also supports the formation of a 5-person Tiger team to address facility maintenance and security. Also, funds will be set aside for emergency repairs. $40 million of that budget will go toward designing a new prison facility and nearly 500 more beds.
I'm hoping if the governor's doing something like that, that it's a start to make something better there.
So that no more families have to share a story like Chuck's. In Macon, Carmen Brown, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, the recommendations will be on the table for review during the legislative session, which kicks off this upcoming Monday, January 13th.